Alright, we're at Western Iowa Tech here today. You saw a couple of videos we've done recently where we showed you how to remove the bearing off the steering stem shaft here and how to take the races out of the frame of the motorcycle. So now we're going to reverse the process and we're going to install new bearings and races. One of the things, Kyle here is one of our students, he's going to demonstrate this part of it. And what we're really liking to use here is by Park Tool, and this is the steering tube bearing installer. It comes with numerous different sizes here to install the bearings, and basically we're going to come around here, we're going to drive this in place. I like using a 2x4 here to kind of protect the steering stem assembly, the bottom triple tree. The other thing you have to make sure and do, where a lot of people screw up on this step, is they forget to install the seal first or below the new bearing that you're going to install. If you forget that, you're going to start all over and have to cut the bearing off, and it's not going to be much of a fun day. The other thing you're going to kind of notice is we're going to be conscious that we're going to be trying to make sure that this seal, it gets in the middle of this bearing, or that it's centered. If you notice here, when this is on the shaft here, there's a little bit of play on here. So we want to try and be conscious to basically give that the best job of centering that. The other thing that you'll notice here of these different drivers here is we're not trying to drive on the outside of this Timken tapered bearing. We're actually finding the correct size here to actually drive the middle or the race that's going to go on the shaft and not damage the rollers. So Kyle here's going to go ahead and do that. Why don't you do it? Okay, get your bearing installed. And this one, apparently when we cleaned it, we did maybe too good a job, and it actually just slid right down in place here. Okay, normally what we're going to have to do is go ahead and set that on here. We'll go ahead and demonstrate the use of the tool. The shaft obviously a little too cleaned up. Put that on like so. We would go ahead and center our seal here best. You got a little tap of it. See how the grease squeezed out there nice and easy. Go ahead and hit her again. Okay, we know we're fully seated. Go ahead and pop that off. Okay. Just out of curiosity, we can still slide that up. So a little too aggressive maybe on the cleaning of the shaft. We had a few burrs on there that we were cleaning out to get that bearing to slide down. But on this here, what we can do now is check to see if there's any play on that. There is none. If we could take and move this bearing around, we'd have the real concern that then we're going to never be able to tighten it up properly, and we're going to have some play in that front end. So that is how you would use the Park bearing racer install kit. And now what we're going to do is we're going to move forward. We'll set this to the side. And by the way, don't forget to pack your bearings. If you didn't pack that bearing ahead of time, you're not going to be able to efficiently pack that on the bike as good as you can by putting that grease in your hand and doing that. Maybe we'll have to make a video on that too. Alright, we're going to get this aside, and then just show you this tool before we go demonstrate it. This thing is probably one of the cooler inventions recently. You take your race, and we've got all these different sizes. I don't know if you can see this. And we're going to match this up till we have one of the drivers that fits this race well. You notice here, we're on top of it, we're not to the shape of the taper, and so on and so on. So, these are all our choices here. Okay, so the one we got here is this number 500. They're labeled with some part numbers on there, and I can see one here as the part number wore off, probably from just obviously gets used quite a bit here. So the idea here is we're going to take, and the top of this, you think it's just a piece of all thread, and there's actually a bearing on here that's going to spin with this. So we're going to take and install the race properly per this type of bearing. So this one is going in the top of the triple tree, so we need to have it facing up. We've got the right size driver on here. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go down through the frame. We're going to grab our bottom piece here. And what's cool is this is a real quick adjustment so that we can get to the right size, and that's what we're going to do. So while we kind of get this set up, we're going to pause for a second, get it set up on the bike, and then keep going. Okay, we're back here, and we're starting to get set up on the bike here. So I've kind of went over which way the race needs to face, and he's got some grease on there too, so it doesn't scratch it as he pulls it in. And what he's going to do is he's also going to be trying to be conscious about keeping it nice and centered in the chassis there. You'll see in a second. There you go. Now pull it, center it up. Keep this one good and centered like so. Just start to pull her down. Better. There you go. And there should be some effort to install these. You gotta remember when we took them out, they just didn't fall out of there. So he's gonna go until it bottoms out, until it feels tight. And you'll definitely feel a stopping point. It's just gonna bottom out. Give her a crank. Alright, there you go. Good. Take it back out. Now use quick release. Boom. Take her out. Take your puller out. And let's go ahead and look at the bearing itself and see that we're replaced. Get this to focus. Life is good. And we have a pre-measured depth on where this race was installed as well. So we're going to reverse the procedure by flipping it upside down. We're going to do the bottom one down here, and then we're going to reassemble the vehicle per the service manual on installing the triple trees. Alright, that's it for today.